Okay, so you're browsing online, maybe reading the news, maybe shopping, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
That cookie banner.
Yep. Ubiquitous.
Exactly. And let's be honest, most of the time, what do? Instinct takes over.
Click. Accept all.
Quick tap, maybe a sigh, it's gone. But what if that quick click, that sort of reflex action, is actually giving away way more personal data than you realize? So our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack that. We want to help you, the listener, become more of a privacy pro.
Yeah, to understand what's actually happening behind that click.
Exactly. What are you really agreeing to?
Yeah.
And maybe more importantly, how can you take back some control over your digital footprint?
And knowing this stuff is, well, it's crucial, isn't it? It's not just about these tiny text files.
No.
It's about making informed choices, real choices about your online privacy, your data. And these choices, they have much bigger ripples than you might think. It connects those quick clicks to, well, the whole landscape of your personal information online. It's about agency, really.
Agency. I like that. So let's get down to basics. Cookies. We hear the word all the time. What are they really? Like in simple terms.
Okay, so fundamentally, they're just small text files. A website asks your browser to store this little file on your device, your computer, your phone.
And they're not inherently evil.
No, not at all. That's a key point. They actually do important jobs. But the problem is their functions vary wildly.
Right, so it's not one size fits all.
Not even close. You've got, first off, essential or necessary cookies. Think of these as like the website's basic plumbing.
Okay.
They do things like keep you logged in session to session, remember what you put in your shopping cart, make sure the basic site navigation works.
So the stuff you actually need for the site to function.
Precisely. And generally, these are fine to accept. The site often just won't work properly without them.
Makes sense. What comes next?
Then you move into a slightly grayer area with analytics cookies.
The tracking ones.
Well, sort of. Their main job is to track how people in general use a website. Which pages are popular, how long people stay, that kind of thing.
So the site owner can improve things.
Yeah, exactly. To improve the user experience. Now, this data is usually anonymized.
Usually. There's a key word.
Right. Because anonymized can be a bit tricky. Sometimes, even supposedly anonymous data, when you combine it with other bits and pieces of information floating around, well, it might become possible to link it back to an individual.
Okay, so maybe not entirely harmless, even if it sounds like it.
It's something to be aware of, definitely. But then you get to the ones that really raise privacy concerns for most people.
Let me guess. Marketing or advertising cookies?
Bingo! These are the ones that really feel, well, invasive.
Give us that classic example. We've all experienced it.
Okay, so you look at, say, a specific pair of red shoes on one online store. Then for the next 2 weeks, everywhere you go, online news sites, social media, blogs, you see ads for those exact red shoes or very similar ones.
Yep. Following you around the internet. It's creepy.
It is creepy. And that's these marketing cookies. They track your browsing habits across multiple websites, not just the one you visited. They build up this detailed profile about you, your interests, your shopping habits, sometimes even inferring things like your potential income level.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely the category to watch out for.
Absolutely. And just a quick clarification here. These are often third-party cookies. Meaning they're placed by a domain other than the website you're actually visiting at that moment. Think advertisers, data brokers, analytics companies.
Got it. As opposed to?
First-party cookies, those are set by the website you are on. And they're usually the essential ones we talked about, remembering your login, your cart, site preferences.
Yep.
Generally less worrying.
Okay. Third party versus first party. That's a useful distinction. Any other types?
Yeah, one more common one. Social media cookies.
Ah, the little like and share buttons.
Exactly. They enable those buttons, which seems helpful. But the flip side is they also track your activity for the social media platforms themselves.
Even if you don't click the button?
Often, yes. Just loading the page with the button can send data back. So unless you're actually planning to share something from that specific page right then and there...
And probably not necessary for you.
Pretty much. So the big takeaway here, the first really crucial point, cookies are not all the same beast. Knowing the difference, essential, analytics, marketing, social play, that's your first step to taking control.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So armed with that knowledge, let's talk about the actual banner that pops up. How do we decode that? What are the traps, the red flags we should be looking for?
Right, because the design of the banner itself tells you a lot.
I've definitely noticed some common tricks, like The accept all button is huge and bright green.
while the reject or customize option is tiny gray text hidden somewhere.
Exactly. Or they use really vague language, like clicking accept will enhance your experience.
Mm-hmm. Enhance it how? By showing you more targeted ads based on tracking. They don't usually specify that.
And what about those pre-checked boxes? That always gets me.
Oh, yeah. Where everything except maybe the essential cookies is already ticked.
Yes. So you have to actively uncheck things to protect your privacy rather than opting in. It relies on inertia.
It absolutely does. And if the whole process of customizing or declining feels like navigating a maze, multiple clicks, confusing categories, that's intentional.
Making it harder to say no than yes. Classic dark pattern.
Precisely. These are all design choices nudging or sometimes shoving you towards giving up more data.
Okay, so those are the things to watch out for. What about the good signs? What does a more privacy-friendly banner look like?
Well, first, look for clearly labeled categories. Necessary or essential should be distinct.
And hopefully pre-checked, or maybe not even an option to turn off.
Right. Then ideally, you'll see other categories like analytics, marketing, social media clearly explained and crucially unchecked by default.
So you have to actively choose to turn them on.
Exactly. Opt in, not opt out. The best banners also provide a detailed cookie list.
Like naming the actual companies involved.
Yes. It might show you exactly which third parties, which advertising networks or analytics firms will get your data if you consent. Take a quick scan. Do you recognize the names? Are there dozens of unknown companies listed? That tells you something.
Good tip. What about this legitimate interest thing I sometimes see mentioned?
Ah, yes. Legitimate interest. This is a legal basis some companies try to use, particularly under GDPR in Europe, instead of getting your explicit consent for certain types of processing, often analytics or some marketing.
So they're saying we have a good reason to do this. We don't need your explicit. Okay.
Sort of, but here's the fascinating part, and the bit many people miss. Even if a company claims legitimate interest, you often still have the right to object or opt out.
Really? Even if they claim it's legitimate?
Yes. They have to weigh their interest against your rights and freedoms. So don't just assume legitimate interest means you have no choice. Look for an option to object or manage those preferences too. They might vary it, but it should be there.
Wow. Okay. That feels like a really important point. We put some power back in your hands, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. You're not just passively accepting their claim.
So next time you encounter a banner, you can kind of mentally checklist these things.
Yeah.
Is accept all too easy? Is the language vague? Are things pre-checked? Can I see who gets the data? Is there a hidden object option for legitimate interest?
Exactly. Visualizing those elements really helps you cut through the noise.
All right, so we know the different types of cookies. We know what to look for in the banners.
Yeah.
Now let's talk strategy. What are the best practices for managing this stuff day to day, like a pro?
Okay, practice number 1. And it sounds simple, but it's key. Don't rush.
Resist the reflex click.
Exactly. Take, 15, 30 seconds. Just pause and actually look at the banner before your muscle memory takes over.
Okay, slow down. What's next?
Practice 2. Start with all or customize manage settings. Don't default to accept all. Look for the most restrictive option first.
So begin from a place of no and only add permissions if needed.
Precisely. It flips the script. Then number 3, adopt the essential cookies only strategy as your default.
Meaning?
Meaning, aim to only allow the necessary or functional cookies that the site actually needs to work. Decline marketing, decline analytics, decline social media cookies, unless you have a specific reason on that site to allow them.
And you can always change your mind later if something seems broken.
Of course, you can usually revisit the settings, but start restrictive. And 4th, practice, check what you're sharing.
Looking at that list of third parties again.
Yeah. If you do hit customize, glance at that list of partners. Generally speaking, fewer third-party partners listed means less data sharing. If you see names you don't recognize, maybe do a quick search later if you're curious.
Fewer partners, better privacy. Makes sense. Yeah. Going beyond the individual banners.
Right. Set your browser, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, whatever you use to block third-party cookies by default. That single setting can eliminate a huge chunk of cross-site tracking.
That sounds powerful. Where do you usually find that?
It's typically in the privacy and security or cookies and site data section of your browser setting. A quick search for your specific browser will show you how.
Good tip. What else on the browser level?
Consider using a privacy-focused search engine. Think DuckDuckGo, Start Page, Brave Search. They don't profile you based on your search history like some of the bigger players do.
Another layer of defense.
And finally, look into privacy browser extensions. There are some really effective ones that can automate blocking trackers and even sometimes help manage consent pop-ups.
Okay, so browser settings are like your backup plan. But yeah, this brings up some common frustrations people have, like what happens when you try to be selective and the site just throws up a message? This site won't work without cookies.
Oh, yes, the dreaded functionality barrier.
Is it always true? Or is it sometimes just a bluff to get you to accept everything?
It's often a bit of both. Sometimes a site genuinely relies on more than just essential cookies for certain features, but often it will work okay with just the essentials.
So what should you do first?
First, try refreshing the page after accepting only the necessary cookies. See if the core functionality you need is still there. You might be surprised.
And if it really doesn't work?
Then, unfortunately, you have a decision to make. Is the convenience or content on that specific site worth the privacy trade-off of enabling more cookies? Sometimes it might be, sometimes not. That's your call.
Okay, another common one. I keep getting the same cookie banner every time I visit, even after I made a choice.
Right, that's super annoying. A couple of things could be happening there. It might be what's called a cookie wall.
The cookie wall?
Yeah, where the site essentially blocks access to content unless you accept all cookies. It's basically forcing your consent. That's legally dubious in some places, like under GDPR, but it still happens. Or the site might just not be properly designed to remember your consent choice. Maybe the cookie that stores your preference isn't working right or expires too quickly.
So what can you do?
You could try clearing the cookies specifically for that site in your browser settings, then revisit and set your preferences again. Sometimes that resets things. If it's a true cookie wall, though, you're back to that decision, access versus privacy.
Okay. And then there's the big one. Ugh, this is just too much effort. I don't have time for this on every website.
It's totally understandable. It's called consent fatigue, and website designers often count on it.
So you just give up and click accept.
Right. But you don't have to fight every single battle. Remember those automation tools.
The browser settings and extensions.
Exactly. Setting your browser to block third-party cookies by default does a lot of the heavy lifting. Using a good privacy extension can handle even more automatically.
So automate the basic protection.
Yes. And then maybe focus your manual customized efforts on the sites you use most often, or ones where you have accounts, or sites where you're entering sensitive information like shopping sites. Prioritize.
Don't try to manage every single banner on the internet. Focus your energy.
Precisely. Make it manageable.
You mentioned extensions. Can you give a few specific examples that people might find helpful?
Sure. A very popular one is uBlock Origin. It's primarily an ad blocker, but it's extremely effective at blocking trackers embedded in those ads too.
Okay, uBlock Origin.
Then there's Privacy Badger. This one specifically learns to identify and block invisible trackers that follow you across websites. It's developed by the Electoral Frontier Foundation, the EFF.
Privacy Badger.
And DuckDuckGo Privacy Essentials is another good all-in-one option. It bundles tracker blocking, enforces encrypted connections, and offers private search all in one extension.
So several options there to help automate things. What about on mobile? Is it the same deal?
Pretty much, yeah. Most mobile browsers, Chrome, Safari, Firefox on mobile, have similar settings for blocking third-party cookies. Dig into the privacy settings.
And are there specific mobile browsers focused on privacy?
Yes, definitely. Firefox Focus is a good example. It's designed to block trackers automatically and easily erase your browsing history and cookies with a single tap. Brave Browser also has strong built-in privacy features for mobile.
Okay, so tools exist for both desktop and mobile to help take back control.
Absolutely. They can really lower that feeling of being overwhelmed by all the digital crumbs.
So wrapping this up then, the core message seems to be cookie consent isn't binary. It's not just accept all or nothing.
Exactly. It's a spectrum, and you have choices.
And by taking maybe just, 15, 30 extra seconds per banner, especially on sites you visit often,
You can significantly reduce the amount of tracking and data collection you're subjected to.
keep your data more private, but still use the websites you need or enjoy.
That's the goal. Find that balance.
All right, so here's your homework, your challenge from this deep dive for the next week. Find 3 cookie banners you encounter, just 3, and instead of reflexively clicking accept all, actually take 30 seconds. Click customize or manage.
See what options they give you. Look at the list of third parties if there is one.
See what data you might have been sharing without realizing it.
Sure.
And then Make a conscious choice. Maybe just accept essentials.
Mm-hmm.
Take back that little bit of control.
Mm-hmm. A small step, but it starts to build the habit.
Definitely.
And as a final thought to leave you with,
Yeah.
maybe reflect on this idea of digital convenience. We optimize for saving seconds all the time online.
True. That instant gratification.
But how might those quick clicks, those moments where we trade a few seconds for, well, potentially years of data tracking, how might that shape not just our individual online experience, but the broader digital world?
That's a deep question. Is the convenience we gain from instantly clicking accept really worth the potential long-term costs to our digital autonomy, our privacy? Something to chew on.
Indeed. Food for thought.